The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Here for the Eagles Sports Network, I'm Brian White with head Carson-Newman swim coach Jordan Taylor as the Eagles prepare for the 6th annual Blue vs. Orange Inter-Squad tomorrow night. Coach, we all know the anticipation that comes with the Blue vs. Orange, but what about this meet being the second event of the year will bring the intensity still for both sides?
Yeah, I mean, the Blue and Orange every year, there's a lot of trash talking goes on. It's very competitive. The swimmers care maybe too much about it, if I'm honest, but it was always designed to prepare our athletes to race instead of just doing a regular practice where we race on a Saturday morning kind of thing. It's like, let's make this a bit more official, get them into two teams, make it 4 points and a trophy at the end of the day. And it's brought around a lot of fast swimming, a lot of very close racing, and it's done exactly what we intended it to do. This year I see it being no different. Ideally we'd like to have it a couple of weeks ago because it's a nice way to kickstart the season, and then it helps prepare them for going against outside competition. But we're doing it backwards this year, I guess, just like last year with COVID. But again, it does what it's meant to do. It gets our team being competitive tomorrow afternoon. There's been a lot of discussion about it now for a number of weeks. But yeah, I think tomorrow we'll see again a lot of close racing, some really good relays. It'll be a chance for me and the coaching staff to really assess where our team's at. What did they learn at the King Invitational? Did they actually listen to what the coaches had to say? And then can they go about applying that to the races tomorrow and ultimately take a kind of step forward, improve their best times in a kind of fun, competitive environment.
And last year, you mentioned the one with it happening during the COVID year, but last year was still very competitive.
Yeah.
Orange took the victory and now holds the series lead, but anything can happen when it comes to race time. But what does this mean for you as the coaches and the rest of the athletes to see the freshmen get their first dose of Blue versus Orange?
Yeah, like you said, last year came down to the wire. Ultimately, the Orange team won it. There was a lot of great racing, but Orange team, Raphael and Meredith broke individual school records, which gets them an extra 5 points. I think they won by 8 points overall, so those two school records was the separation between the two teams. And it's always a very close event. I think this weekend will be the same. It might take a school record from someone to get those extra bonus points. For the freshmen, again, an opportunity to race, to kind of stamp their mark on college swimming and stamp their mark on our program. With it being such a competitive environment, there'll be again a lot of nerves tomorrow. Everyone will be hyped up, and I think that again is a great experience for the freshmen when we go towards our bigger meets, especially at conference when there's a lot of pressure on every single swim that you have, and the team care about how you perform for the team. This kind of experience now early in the season will help them going forward. So yeah, that's what I kind of expect for the freshmen. And
finally, you see the coaches and your assistant coaches take a role as a coach to help out and get experience to what you get to do on a meet by meet basis, but the main part that we see in the Blue versus Orange is the senior captain leadership selection. What are you expecting to see come Friday at 5:30 when Blue versus Orange kicks off?
Yeah, it's a good point. One of our kind of focuses is that the senior captains, along with our GAs, have the opportunity to do the draft picking of the freshmen. They get to then put people into certain events, pick the relays, and figure out what their tactics are going to be. There's only a limited 3 spots per event. Each person has to swim multiple events, and so you're trying to figure out where's the best place to put people, how do we get the best points overall, and it gives them an experience of what me and my staff are going to do moving forward as we go towards our meets as a coaching staff. And so I think it then helps them to understand my decision-making process and helps them understand the rules that go into dual meets in college athletics. And it's not as simple as, hey, this is your best event, on you go. You want to try and prioritise kind of the top events for certain people, but you've got to look at the greater good of the whole team, and that's ultimately what guides my decisions for our dual meets, and then as we go towards conference, and so having the team get that ability to take ownership of their event lineup and their teams, again, just kind of helps in that whole thing. And from what I've been hearing so far, every year I think the teams kind of understand it's more than just put people in events and good luck. It's you got to be tactical. You got to think about where you're putting people, where you're resting people. The relays are double points. So those are going to be very important. You want reliable, fast athletes to step up on those relays. But the biggest thing is that kind of X factor. You just don't know. No one's rested. No one's tapered. This is not our end of season meet. But who can step up when they're tired? Who can get close to their best times under that kind of pressure? And so I think that's the biggest thing, that on paper it might look like an orange team or a blue team's going to win, but it depends what happens when that whistle goes and you dive in. Can you perform to your best? And it's not just that first person that's going to win that race, but your teammates that are also in that race have to be packing in the points behind you, because if you win the race but then your other teammates go 5th and 6th, you only win that event by 1 point, and that's nothing. But if you can get a teammate in 2nd or 3rd, now you're taking big chunks on the leaderboard away from the other teams. So it's going to be super competitive, very fun event tomorrow night. I do want to say a lot of pressure on the very last event of the night tomorrow, the coaches versus alumni relay. Trying to get alumni squeezing back into their race suits from years ago, but that will hopefully be the highlight of the night, I think.
Thanks, Coach, and we look forward to Blue vs. Orange tomorrow night. For the Eagle Sports Network, I'm Brian White, here with head Carson-Newman swim coach Jordan Taylor.